A young black boy, full of dreams and determination, walks into a corporate office in a big city in America. He was one among the hundreds of thousands who had applied for the position. Highly educated, talented, and confident, he believed he had everything it took to secure the job. His resume was impressive, his academic achievements unparalleled, and his skills perfectly matched the role's requirements. As he walked into the interview room, he could feel the weight of his aspirations resting on this one opportunity. The first round of the interview began. It was technical, challenging, but the boy answered every question with precision and confidence. His knowledge and expertise left the interviewers visibly impressed. They nodded in approval, exchanged glances, and even smiled occasionally. He cleared the first round effortlessly and moved on to the second round. This was a personality assessment meant to gauge his ability to fit into the company's culture. The boy spoke with passion, articulating his thoughts clearly and presenting innovative ideas that left the panel in awe. By the time he reached the final round, he was sure of his success. It was just a formality now, or so he thought. The panelists asked routine questions, but their expressions seemed to change subtly as they scrutinized him more closely. When the interview concluded, the boy was told to wait for the results. Hours passed, and finally an HR representative called him into the room. What he heard next left him shattered. "We regret to inform you that we cannot offer you this position," the HR representative said. The boy was stunned. He couldn't believe it. He asked for feedback, hoping to understand where he had gone wrong. The HR's response was vague. They mentioned cultural fit and other superficial reasons, but the boy could sense the unspoken truth. He had been judged not for his skills, his education, or his talent, but for the color of his skin. As he walked out of the office, his heart was heavy with disappointment. But deep inside, he knew this wasn't the end. He had faced rejection not because he was incapable, but because of a prejudice that still existed in society. That day, he vowed to rise above the discrimination, to fight not just for his dreams, but for a world where talent and hard work mattered more than the color of one's skin. This was not his failure. It was a reflection of a flawed system, and he was determined to change it. As he walked out of the towering corporate building, the city's cold wind brushed against his face, but it couldn't extinguish the fire ignited within him. His mind replayed the interview, the subtle shifts in body language, the lingering gazes, the hesitant smiles. They all began to make sense now. He sat on a nearby bench, watching people rush past, each absorbed in their own lives. For a moment he felt small, insignificant, but the thought didn't last long. He reminded himself that the greatest changes in history were sparked by individuals who refused to accept the status quo. The boy decided he wouldn't let this rejection define him. Instead, it would fuel him. He began researching ways to make an impact, not just for himself, but for others who faced similar struggles. He started networking, connecting with like-minded individuals who shared his vision of a fair and inclusive society. Weeks turned into months, and the boy kept building. He attended workshops, learned about systemic inequality, and started writing about his experiences. His words resonated with many, and his blog gained traction. People from different parts of the country began reaching out, sharing their own stories of rejection and resilience. Soon, he partnered with activists and professionals to create a platform that supported underrepresented talent. They called it Equal Steps. The platform not only provided mentorship and resources, but also highlighted success stories to inspire others. Companies started taking notice. Some were defensive, while others genuinely wanted to change. The boy was invited to speak at events, where he fearlessly shared his story, challenging organizations to confront their biases and embrace diversity. Years later, the same boy who was once rejected walked back into a corporate office not as an applicant, but as a keynote speaker. Standing on the stage, he looked at the audience filled with corporate leaders and young professionals. With every rejection, I was told I wasn't good enough, but what I've learned is that rejection often has nothing to do with your abilities and everything to do with others' inability to see your worth. If I stand here today, it's because I refuse to let their perception define me. And now I ask you all to look within and ask yourselves, are you truly building a world where everyone has an equal chance to succeed? The crowd erupted in applause, but for the boy, now a man, this was just the beginning. His story was no longer about a single rejection. It was about transforming a system, one step at a time.